All right, hi guys, Eric here again at Redmans Performance. We're going to be doing another segment here on the 383 crankshaft. So the first part of the segment, what we did is we turned the counter throws down on the crankshaft. After we turned the counter throws down on the crankshaft, we stuck it up on the balancer. We determined that we needed to add some heavy metal to it, or Mallory. From that point in time, we've went and added Mallory to both ends of the crankshaft. Now we're back up on the balancer with the bob blades back on the crankshaft. I've done a little bit of leg work here prior to the video. I've got the front portion of the crankshaft already in balance within a half a gram, and the backside's out a few grams. We have the spin rate on the crankshaft set at 7,800 RPM, and that'll determine how good, leastwise, the maximum level that we're going to recommend the crankshaft to go to stay in balance. What I'm going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and spin the crankshaft up so you guys get a good idea of where the crankshaft spun up. We're going to remove a little bit of metal out of the back of the crankshaft, probably a couple grams, 2 or 3 grams of metal out of the back, out of the lightning hole on the rod. At that point in time, you guys will be able to see the crankshaft come into a half a gram or 3/4 of a gram. The window that we have here to play with on this particular crankshaft, the strategy that the computer gave us, is anything below 3.5 grams on both ends, front and back of the crank. So myself personally, I always like to try to get in below a half a gram. And at that point in time, I know that I've done about the best I can do. So let's go ahead and give this thing a whirl, and you guys get an idea of what's going on. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to just spin the crankshaft up. I've got my machine already set up here at 600 RPM because that's where it needs to flag the electronics here. It'll take it a second to come up to RPM. Now it's measuring. Okay, so our front is actually at 0.62 grams out, which is giving us a green light. And the back is at 3.74 grams, which is giving us a green light too. So as far as the computer program is concerned here, we're in balance. We don't really need to do any more than what we've got going on here, you guys. We like to do just a little bit better than what the program will recommend. And that's, I don't know that we're really gaining a lot, but that happens to be personal preference of what kind of work we like to turn out of our shop. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a die grinder. Also, the computer tells us right where to position the crankshaft and where the metal needs to come out. Right here, we're going to green. So basically, we're going to pull some metal out of the lightning hole here in the back of the crankshaft. I'm going to cover this back main up here real quick so I don't get metal inside my grease. And we're going to pull a few grams out of here, and then we're going to see how we do and get it in balance. We get a die grinder here. And we're going to get this ground out real fast. All right, sorry about the noise. All right, so we're going to get a little bit of grease back on the back side of this main again. That way we keep a very minimal friction back here. It's probably about time for me to go ahead and grease the front. We are running a Maxima assembly grease here. So now let's go ahead and hit the button and let's run it up again, see where we're at. We were at 181 degrees at 3.74 grams. Now we're at 3.12 grams, so basically I'd only removed a half a gram out of there. This is kind of a tedious process when you're doing this. You don't want to take too much. If you take too much, then you got more to add back in, and that's always a pain in the ass. So let's get a little bit more removed out of here. I apologize for the noise on camera. There's not a lot I can do about this, I don't believe. See if I can get it there pretty close this last time though for us. Sounds like I'm taking a lot of material out of there, but I'm not. What I'm doing is I'm filleting that hole out. So on that outer edge out here, if you guys can see with a finger, what I'm doing is I'm putting a really aggressive taper right at the edge of this hole here, is what I'm doing. So I'm really not taking a lot of metal out of the inside of the crankshaft here at all. I'm basically taking all the material out, that last little 1/4 inch there. And then I'm blending it in so it just doesn't look so bad to the eye. All right, we got a good measurement now. Let's see where we're at. All right, we're at 1.31 grams now, but it looks like we changed our angle. We were at 181 degrees the last time. Now we're at 161 degrees is where we need to remove the metal. So where we need to remove the metal right now is right here on this crown. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap tools now. We're going to get away from the die grinder. And we're going to get on here with a grinding wheel. And so everybody's kind of got their own idea of what to use on this. Myself, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of a 90-degree 90-degree grinder, I find it works the best. They're small. They've got little 2.5 or 3-inch wheels, whatever a guy feels the most handy with. What I like about it is when I'm done with them, I can go ahead and put a surface preparation disc on there, brown ones usually, and then I can clean my work up. That way when it leaves out of here, it has a little bit of a polished finish. So let's see if we can get this last half to 3/4 of a gram out of here. And at that point in time, this crank will be balanced and ready for the customer. Gonna get noisy here again. This is one of those jobs you want to take a little at a time. Too much becomes a problem. So let's see if we can dress it down now a little bit. All right, aesthetically now, that looks pretty decent. Get some of this excess grease wiped off here that I just smeared all over it. All right, we're gonna grease our mains back up here again. If I can figure out where I put my grease at. There we go. There we go. There we go, let's spin it again and see where we're at. We were at 161 degrees and 1.31 grams. Okay, so we're gonna call that good because right now we're at 0.38 grams is what we are. So we're within my 1/2 gram minimum that I like on the back. So we're 0.38 on the back and 0.58 on the front, okay? So we're under my 1/2 gram of what I call acceptable limits, and we're way within inside our margins. So hopefully this gives you guys kind of an idea of what goes on. Now mind you, I've been balancing on this crankshaft about 4 hours to this point in time. I finally got it to a point to where I felt that I could get this done in a 25 or 30 minute video for you guys and not just bore the hell out of you. So let's take the camera here though. Let me see if I can flip this thing back. We'll grab hold of the tripod and I'll get you guys moved in over here, get you guys to take a look at the balance on the screen. So let's see if I can get you guys moved in here on the screen a little better. There you go. So that'll give you guys kind of an idea of what we've got going on with a balancer. So this right here would be the back side of the balancer here, the left side, and the right side would be the front side of the crankshaft. We're at 0.58 grams on the front side, and we're at 0.38 grams on the back side. So we're way within inside the acceptable limits. Now, the crankshaft itself here. What I've done on the crankshaft here, let's see if I can get this thing down in there where you can see. So here's the crankshaft here. We've had to pull some material out of here, radius the side of this counter throw off. This was a factory hole that I put some weld into, and here's our Mallory. So that was basically what we did in the front side, and then Also remove just a little bit of weight out of the lightning hole here. Now on the back side, let's get you guys around here to the back side. Back side, sort of the same thing. Welded a little bitty factory hole that was in here. Put a mallory slug in right here. And then we'd radius the side of the counter throw ear off. That last little bit of metal that we just did with a grinder, we pulled out right here. And then when we'd first started the video, we were pulling the metal out of the inside of the lightning hole right here in the center of the crankshaft. So now at this point in time, this crank is done and balanced. What we'll do is we'll throw it back up on the polisher and we will hit it one more time. Get you guys back here again. Bear with me for a minute. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this crankshaft and we're gonna throw it back in there on the balancer, or excuse me, in the polisher. And so we're gonna go ahead and polish this crankshaft back up one more time. We're gonna run the mic specs on it one more time and write them down. And then the customer can have his crank and he can go get his motor put together. He'll have him a good crankshaft, put it together nice and clean, change the oil in it. This thing will last a long time. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you for watching. Eric at Redmans Performance.